So in therapy, we often talk about false selves as defense mechanisms, like sort of like the shell of a turtle or a snail, something that we retreat into so that we can be safer at the expense, of course, of comfort. So a kind of false self for professors, this might mean coming into class and sort of assuming the face of objective neutrality and intellectualism that is assumed that faculty at a university will have. For LGBTQ members of society, this might mean attempting to pass as straight or downplaying one's gender identity or sexual orientation. And for members of racial and cultural minorities, this might mean playing up, shall we say, whiteness, attempting to speak English or French as well as possible, and downplaying elements of cultural identity that stand out in the Western milieu. Certain psychological discourses talk about how if the false self is left on too long or forced to be used too often or too much, one can begin to internalize negative messages about one's true self, such as it is shameful to be different in any way, disabled, working class, racialized, indigenous, queer. Those things must be hidden, not just for safety, but because they're intrinsically bad. And this idea, of course, is the beginning of a lot of mental health distress. Negative self-esteem, negative sense of body image and self, depression, anxiety. All these things, of course, are things that we know intuitively already. It doesn't take a genius or a rocket scientist or a psychologist, for that matter, to figure out that if one is told over and over that one has to hide certain aspects of the self in order to be accepted and safe in society, then those aspects might be intrinsically bad or shameful. But also a lot of empirical research has shown that members of cultural and social minorities are, in fact, more prone to disorders such as anxiety and depression and suicidal ideation and self-mutilation, mental illnesses, shall we say, that are particularly linked to the experience of the environment. So all that to say, what we need is environments that foster a sense of safety, that allow connection between people, and that bring out the true self, so that negative messaging, negative internalizations can be shared in the public and then shed.